We're on?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Hey everybody, I'm Charles and I work in the admissions office.
Hi everyone, I'm Casey and we are here tonight to give you some information for our newly admitted students. So congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. First things first. So we have a few things we're going to go over here for the first few minutes. And then we're going to take some questions. So if you have any, just type them in as we're going along. But we have a few things that we know that you will want to know. So we're going to start with those now, and I think Casey's going to kick us off.
Yes, so for everyone that got admitted last Friday for early action, we will be sending you this awesome packet in the mail. You should get it sometimes next week. Our staff worked really hard to stuff all of these packets today, and we will be throughout the rest of the week to make sure you get this great information. There's some really awesome things inside. We have a book for you, this cool poster.
Your alumni.
Yes, and then your sticker, as well as your official notice of admission letter. So that will be coming in the mail probably by the end of next week.
Yep. And then second thing to go over is one of the first questions that we get after you've been admitted, you're excited, is then, okay, what's up with financial aid?
Mm-hmm.
So there are some things that you need to do now if you haven't already done. The first thing is submit your FAFSA. So FAFSA, free application for federal student aid. Many of you maybe have already gotten that taken care of. It was open earlier this fall. But if you haven't submitted a FAFSA and you plan to apply for financial aid, just get that into us as soon as possible. FAFSA.ed.gov is where you can do that. Once you submit the FAFSA, that's going to go over to our friends over in the financial aid office, and they're going to hold on to that. And then our timeline for giving out financial aid packages is we expect to be able to do that in mid-February is the time frame where we think we'll have financial aid packages out to students. The other question we get is not related to the FAFSA, but about merit or academic scholarships. So we're in the process as a university to start reviewing for those now, and we'll be reviewing over the next number of weeks. And we will send out notifications to any student who's been selected for a scholarship, who's received a scholarship, whether from the university generally or even from colleges or departments where you've been admitted by March 1st. So March 1st is the day to remember that if you do get a scholarship, you would be informed through the financial aid office or through the college or department no later than March 1st.
Yep. And the next thing we want you to think about, we know that your second semester of senior year can get really busy, but we hope that you can plan a visit to come down and see us on campus. So our admitted visits are up on our website. We offer admitted daily visits pretty much every day, Monday through Friday, throughout the semester. Our first one will be January 16th, which is when our classes start back up on campus. So we have these daily visits, which will give you a good presentation. You'll get to see a tour of campus, possibly meet with the college that you've been admitted to, which we know is really important. And then we also have larger admitted student days. So these are large open house programs exclusively for admitted students. They'll happen throughout the semester. Our first one is in February, where our colleges will be represented. You can check out housing and a lot of different things while you're on campus on that day. So admitted student days are a great way to visit if that works with your schedule. We also have some Saturday visits as well for admitted students. So you can see all of those on our website and be sure to sign up for those as you're planning out your semester.
Yeah. And one of the things that you can do while you're on campus is get a little bit more information about housing. Because certainly that's a big part of the admissions process. If you decide to come to Illinois, or even if you're in the decision-making process, seeing where you live is usually at or near the top of the list for a lot of students, a lot of parents, a lot of families. So a couple things to cover right now. First of all, there's two options that students have. The first is university housing. So if you are a student, you've decided to come to Illinois, you've accepted your offer of admission, you can do your housing contract at any point after that. There's no need for you to rush to do it as soon as possible. You have until May 15th. So as long as students fill out that housing contract by May 15th, you're in that first sort of priority period. And so when you come to campus, you can visit different residence halls. You can learn more also on their website. Housing has a fantastic website.
Definitely.
Learn about living learning communities, all those types of things. Now the other type of housing is private certified housing. So roughly 25% of our freshman students will do private certified. Within private certified housing, if you've heard of Hendrick House, Illini Tower, Newman, etc., there's about 15 of these across campus. They do work a little bit differently. Most of those places work on a first come, first served basis. So if you're looking at a private certified facility, definitely, time is a little bit more important than university housing. The other thing to remember is because those certified housing locations are privately owned, little less standardized. So it's important to look specifically at the one that you might be living at, because there's more differences from place to place than there is within university housing.
For sure. So switching gears, now we want to talk a little bit about your senior year grades. So you self-reported all of your grades on your application for admission. We want you to continue to be the great student that you are throughout your senior year. So you'll send us those final transcripts after you accept your offer of admission and you graduate high school. So those won't be coming until over the summer. But we really want to emphasize that we want you to do well senior year. And if you need to make any changes to your senior year schedule, you want to move some things around, definitely call us in admissions and we'll talk about kind of a pre-approval process before you make that change to your schedule. And that's available on your MyIllini account. But give us a call if you think that you're going to change any part of your senior year schedule compared to what you put on your application for admission.
And the last thing we're going to cover is deadlines. So it talked a little bit about financial aid timeline, talked about visiting. So you got your financial aid package, you visited campus. When do you need to make your decision by? So May 1st is a magic date. Probably not only for us, but pretty much every four-year college and university is going to use that May 1st date. So you have plenty of time between now and then until you need to make a decision about where you'll be enrolling and going. So whenever you're ready, whether that's today or whether that's May 1st, it's okay. And you can accept your offer of admission online, but it's just important to keep that date in the back of your mind as you're weighing your offers from Illinois and any other schools that you might be considering. May 1st, the date to know.
Sure. And literally all of this is on your admitted student checklist. So on your MyIllini account, if you click on your application, you'll see a great checklist that has all of these things listed on there so you can keep track of what you've already done, what you need to do, as well as accepting your offer of admission.
Yeah, and also in the admission packet that Casey talked about earlier, you have a little fold-out poster that gives you the admitted student checklist,
Yes.
so you have the electronic and the physical, whichever one you prefer. So at this point, we have one of our admissions counselors here on the side, Hannah, who is going to help us with any Q&A if there's any questions that have come in yet. If not, we have some other common questions that students often have that we can sort of address and answer, but I don't have access to the Facebook Live right now, so I'm looking at Hannah.
No
Hannah
questions
is shaking her head,
No
so I
questions.
think that means that we don't have any questions yet, which is okay.
It is.
So, were you going to say something? Sorry.
No.
No, okay. Well,
Please send us some questions
yes.
if you have any.
Yeah, definitely send us some questions. I would say the questions that we want are ones that are general in scope. So if you have a super specific question, you know, hey, I applied to X major, I really want to know about what I'll do as a sophomore in this program. Maybe not the best question for Facebook Live, but definitely send us an email or give us a call, and we're happy to answer questions that way. So any other, no questions, Hannah? No, that's okay.
So like you've been doing probably throughout the application process and when you're searching for schools, you've been emailing us as admissions counselors. You can still do that through your MyIllini account if you want to connect with your counselor. If you have those specific questions, so you can email them directly through MyIllini. Like Charles and I have been on the phone with you all day,
Yes.
so keep us busy, keep calling us, and we're happy to walk through kind of any aspect of our admissions process.
Okay, so I'll ask a question. So we talked a little bit earlier about visits. So if you're a student who's coming to campus, maybe this is your only visit to Illinois and you're only going to have one time to visit. Besides maybe the standard stuff, you know, you're going to get an information session, take a tour. What are maybe some other things you would try to take advantage of while you're on campus?
While you're on campus, definitely looking at different housing options. As we mentioned, you have the private certified options and the university housing options. Also take some time to get to know the other admitted students that are there on the day, especially ones that were admitted to your program or your major, or you have similar interests. Also, our students will be there helping you throughout the entire day. They're awesome. They're happy to answer any questions or concerns you may have about Illinois or just college in general. So definitely take advantage of them.
Yeah, and another thing that I would definitely encourage if you have time, depending on maybe you're coming the night before or something like that, is, you know, check out the town beyond campus. Obviously, it's going to differ for every person depending on how long they're planning to spend in town. But there's a lot of great things that go on in Champaign, Urbana, cool restaurants, both really close to on campus and also off campus as well. So that's one thing I would suggest.
What about honors programs?
Yeah.
Great question.
About that.
So,
Yeah,
do
so
you want to go? Me go?
I'll touch on
Okay,
it, and
all right.
you ask where you need to. So students will be notified if they were admitted to an honors program by March. So similar to financial aid, that notification is going to come separate. We do have a lot of great honors programs, from departmental to college-wide programs. So you're still in consideration for all of those honors programs automatically with your application for admission.
Yeah, and in the meantime, if you do want to learn more a little bit about honors programs, you can go to our website. It's probably easiest things in the search bar. Just click honors or put in honors and search for it. As Casey mentioned, there's college-based honors programs. So College of Business has one, College of Liberal Arts, etc. And so they'll be getting notifications out to students by March 1st, and those will come directly from the college offices.
Right.
And then there is also the Chancellor Scholars Program or Campus Honors Program. So that's interdisciplinary, campus-wide, not specific to what college or major that you're in at the university. And again, those notifications come directly from the from Campus Honors in that case, or from the college if it's a college honors program. There we go, college honors program.
So you can look for that again by March 1st, around the similar timeline of financial aid, if we have everything in.
Best time to sign up for housing?
So it depends a little bit.
It does.
So I'll maybe cover private certified if you want
Sure.
to talk about university. So private certified housing, most locations again are going to be on a first come first served basis. So if you know you're coming to the University of Illinois, it's great to give them a call or shoot them an email. There's tons of great information on our website on your admitted student checklist about housing. Also, private certified housing has their own website. So you can check with the individual units. Definitely there are some that fill up pretty quickly and fill up
Sure.
early. So if you're thinking about private certified, sort of the earlier you can get that ball rolling. And also, as I sort of said earlier, make sure that you know the differences between the private certified units. Some are very similar to sort of traditional residence hall living. Some are very different. They're smaller, cooperative living, so there's a lot of differences within private certified.
Yes, and for university housing, the priority deadline to submit that contract isn't until May 15th. So after our deadline of May 1st, their deadline is May 15th. So everyone that submits their housing contract and deposit before May 15th is entered into a lottery system, essentially to pick your residence hall. And that lottery system will give you a time ticket that you'll log in to pick your residence hall sometime over the summer. So there's no rush in getting that university housing contract in. Their priority deadline isn't until May 15th, but you are able, once you accept your offer admission, to go through and start that process as well if you know you're looking at university housing options. And like private certified, university housing options do vary across campus. They have those living learning communities, so those are different themed communities, maybe by a major or interest area. So that's one of my favorite parts about university housing, so definitely check that out as well.
Okay, I have a question. If I took dual credit classes in high school and decide to transfer those credits to fulfill graduation requirements, will the grades also transfer to my college GPA?
All
That
right.
is a great question.
That's a good question. So the question, is about transferring courses, how the grades transfer over. So if you're a student in high school right now and maybe you're taking dual enrollment courses through your local community colleges or a college or university nearby, and those courses are transferable, absolutely send them to us. We will evaluate them, see if they're transferable. If you want to get sort of a sneak preview of whether they transfer or not, there's a website you can go to called transferology.com, and you can search how those courses transfer. So the second part of the question is, do those grades transfer? And the answer is yes.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, so it's very important that you are doing well in those courses. Maybe you're finishing up some of those courses now or be taking them next semester. So hopefully you're doing very well in those courses because those courses will impact your college GPA if they're transferable courses. So doing poorly in the courses obviously is not a great thing, just generally speaking, but also for your college GPA. So just make sure that you're doing well, but yes, those grades will come over with you if the courses transfer.
It's a great way to start off your first year of college with a really strong GPA
Yes.
before you take your first class at Illinois. But yes, that GPA will come with you. That's important.
Can you explain the process of transferring into a different major from the Division of General Studies?
Sure. Great. Yeah. So about 25% of our students often start in the Division of General Studies. All of our majors on campus are open to them if they start in the Division of General Studies. But every major has a different process as far as what that is going to look like. Their website is awesome, the Division of General Studies. It will talk about the specifics that you will need for certain majors and certain colleges as far as a GPA or course requirements from after your freshman year to transfer into that program. The biggest thing to know is that you will stay in the Division of General Studies for at least a year, exploring all of those different options on campus, and the academic advisors in DGS are fantastic about making sure all of the courses that you're taking are fulfilling requirements for all of the majors that you're interested in. So definitely review the resources on their website. That process is called an intercollegiate transfer, and that's what it means to transfer either from DGS or any of our colleges into another college.
Yeah, and just to add on to what Casey said, from General Studies website, you can also find links to the ICT, again, intercollegiate transfer requirements for all the colleges on campus. So, you know, hey, I'm thinking maybe I want to do biology, or maybe I'm thinking about doing business after a year or whatever. You can go and see what those different requirements are. Different colleges will require you to take different courses during your first year or two at the university. They might be looking for different GPAs. So you can get a sense of, you know, what your first year might look like. And as Casey said, they're really going to do a good job of doing parallel advising and keeping you on multiple tracks at the same time to keep your options open as you're exploring through DGS and looking at your options for what to declare here at the university.
We had a question about, is there a website to find a roommate? About roommate matching?
Yeah, so the question was about roommate matching. There is, I think, you know, they call it eHarmony Lite in the housing process. But there is a matching process actually within the housing system itself. So once you sign up for housing, you're able to say, you know, I'm a morning person, I, you know, am clean, I am messy, sort of those types of, you know, style and living habits, those types of things that you're able to do and explore. Folks who have sort of those similar interests, or, you know, is up at 5 in the morning with you and asleep at 8 p.m. Or maybe not, I don't know, but that's how some folks are.
Sure, yeah. So you'll get that while you, or after you get into that housing contract and start going through that process, you'll be exposed to all of those resources that there are.
Yeah, and I'd also add you can, if you have somebody that you're friends with or that you want to live with, you can go through that process together and sort of mutually request each other. If you know that, I think depending on who you ask, some people will say that's a great thing to do. Other people will say maybe it's not the best thing to live with your best friend from high school. Sometimes it's good to get a little bit of a break from each other sometimes. So lots of options wherever you are, whether you're, you know, open to anybody or know exactly who you want to room with, you have those options at Illinois.
I roomed with my best friend in college and it worked out great. But not everyone has that story, so it just depends.
The first time I met my roommate was when I moved in. So, and we both had great experiences, so it works either way.
Okay. Is there a limit on the number of AP credits that will be accepted?
There's not, no. So on the admissions website, you can search for AP credits, again, up in the top. That's the best way to navigate our website. And you can see exactly what you need on those AP exams to earn certain credit at the university. So we understand that you're probably taking a lot of those classes as a senior. So after you graduate high school, after you're finished with all of those exams, you'll send us that AP score report, and we'll evaluate that just as we would dual credit courses and those things to make sure we give you the appropriate credit as you enter the University of Illinois.
No more questions.
No more questions. Well, we'll maybe see if we get any more questions that come in, but if not, we'll wrap up. But another question that I was sort of thinking of as we were sitting here is we get questions, and maybe the Division of General Studies question came in that some students ask about, well, you know, I've been admitted to one major, what if I want to change or anything like that? And so if you do have those types of questions, that's a perfect question maybe not to ask in Facebook Live, but to give our office a call or an email. Because that's another question I got a few today. Maybe I don't know if you did as well, that some students are admitted to a particular college or program. So we did want to put that out there, that if you do have those types of questions, definitely call or email our office and we can talk through the options if you're having second thoughts, or, you know, you had an epiphany that I know I applied to chemistry, but now I want to do biology.
I had a few of those today.
Yeah. So feel free to give us a call or an email, because those are definitely questions we're happy to answer individually.
Okay. What is the deadline to pay the $150 acceptance fee and the deadline to accept an offer?
Deadline to accept an offer is May 1st. So that is the day to remember and sort of ingrain in your head, if you will. That's the day. We do have a $150 enrollment fee as part of that process. You pay that online. You can accept your offer of admission through the admitted student checklist. Again, you can do it today if you want to. We've already had some students who, you know, were admitted and accepted that offer pretty quickly. We have other students who are going to wait a lot of offers and going to wait till 11:59 p.m. on May 1st probably, and that's fine. So wherever you are in that spectrum, but May 1st is the day to remember.
And there's so many good resources on our website. You know, if you can't visit campus, there are great resources online, admissions counselors, other folks on campus that would love to talk to you, because we know it's a big decision. And so we want to make sure that you can weigh out all of these options and you feel really confident about making that decision before or on May 1st. Anything else?
All right, so I think we're good with questions. I don't think we have any more, or if we did, maybe they weren't the type of question that are conducive to a Facebook Live question. So if you do have any questions, either that you didn't ask, or maybe there's a question you did ask and we didn't get to it, definitely send us an email, admissions@illinois.edu, or you can give us a call, 217-333-0302. Office is open 8:30 to 5 Central. We're open this week, but we are closed next week for the winter break. So if you do have any questions, that's the best way to reach us.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.
Thanks so much, and congratulations.